Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Just the Tip, episode 39. On today's episode, we're going to talk about Emirates Stakes Day. I didn't really like any betting propositions in the first two races, so we'll start off with race number 3. I've landed on number 1, Fastnet Tempest. Now, the blinkers go back on, which I think is a big positive. McAvoy jumps on as well, which is also a big push. Draws well and has really good stats at the distance for 6 starts, 2 wins, a second and a third. Its Sail Cup second was really nice, came off the back there, didn't really get too many favours. The tempo was on, but didn't get any favours besides that. Was really wayward in the straight, so the blinkers going back on I think is a really good gear change for this horse. Price is about right at the moment, probably shortens just a little. I think it'll be about $2.50, $2.60 at the jump, but I think that's a good bet to start off your day. I thought number 4, Jack and Obey, was a little over the odds. I think that the Group 1 placed horse is actually going really well. Wasn't too bad in a 2-rack, was 3 or 4 wide on the trip and 4 on, so I definitely think that form line is pretty good here. Definitely will be one of the ones being very competitive towards the line. Number 6, Cold Stone, goes in for me too. And number 3, Raw Impulse, also gets a mention here, but I didn't think it was that good in the Sail Cup. I just think it has some potential here to run it in the top 3. So pretty keen here on number 1, Fastnet Tempest. Race number 4, a pretty open event here, and I've gone with number 3, Bassett here. I thought it had 2 really nice runs leading into this, and last up was really unlucky at Moonee Valley. And I just think that getting out to a bigger track here will be a good advantage. It's on speed, it's going to be a tough horse to run down. Obviously, a lot of the market is leaning on number 7, Light in My Veins, who is a really good Perth horse here. I just think that Bassett has a couple more good ticks in its favour here, and the price discrepancy means I'm going to be landing on Bassett. I thought number 1, Supply and Demand, who I'm not sure if will go around on Oaks Day or will go around on Saturday, was a definite one to have in your mix too, but I think it's more of a stayer, and 1400 for me. It was really good fresh, but I just think that that was one run. I'm doing the same thing as I did with Collateral. I thought Collateral was really good for a good fresh, because obviously a good stayer and hit the line well, and its second up run wasn't as flash because obviously it's looking for further. I think Supply and Demand is going to fit in that same basket there. Really good stayer, fantastic run fresh, but obviously we'll be looking for further now. And I've got number 2, Lord Aspen in as well, coming off a really nice win there in Adelaide. I just thought that probably doesn't get as nice a run as Bassett here, so I've gone with Bassett. And 2 interesting horses in the race for me. Number 4, Howard Be Thy Name, who hasn't had a run for over a year. And number 8, God's In Him, who has really good fresh form, but also hasn't had a run for a very long time. So those 2 I'm looking for more for later down the track. And I'm really keen here at each way bet at Bassett. Race number 5 here, and I'm really keen on number 1, Kiwi, obviously coming out of the same form reference as Kiwi A. And I just think that that fresh, really fresh in the last start, obviously still won. You could just see on the turn it had its mouth open just a little bit. So obviously, first one in Australia, just a little bit keen. And I just think that had the chance to be beaten there and wasn't. So probably still goes around here and wins again. Second up form, peaked last time it was here, ran 4th in a Melbourne Cup, so obviously that's really strong form lines coming into this, knowing the horse can run really well second up. I just think gets onto a really good position here, even slightly better than it did last start, and should just win. Number 3, Kiwi A, as I mentioned before, was really tough last start. I was actually on it. I thought that it had a pretty good chance of winning. Just got up to the right part, right on the corner. I just thought it probably peaked on its run with 50 to go. It could have gone past Kiwi, but didn't. So I think that run will definitely bring it on. I just think that Kiwi's probably going to take a little bit further progression there. So they're the 2 for me on top. And I've got number 10, Will Leisure, definitely as the danger here. Blowout charts was just in the wrong part of the track in the Geelong Cup. I was really keen on it that day. It goes up here at $10. I think that's a right price. May even drift because a lot of people come for number 1 and 3. But I just think it has the right form lines coming into this to say that it's going to run well. So I think number 10 definitely is a big danger, but I'm keen on number 1, Kiwi. Race number 6 here, and I've landed on number 4, the Consommatuer. 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 I think that's how it's pronounced. Race number 60. I've landed on number 4, Consommatuer. I think that it really smells like a bit of a sting here. Gone up at a really nice solid price. Obviously the bookies are thinking that it has a chance as well. $10. I think that's a really good price to take. 2 runs in, 1600 really sets up for the 2000. I know it's unstarted at 2000, but that is a nice base going up to it, and it ran through the line both starts, so I think that it definitely will make the trip. It really looks like it's been set up for this. Been dragged out to the last both times by Bo Mearns. You get the jockey switch here for Williams. I think it's just stinks of I'm gonna like run a really good race here. Gate 6 is perfect, and third up form is 2 starts for 1 win and a third. Really looks like a really good chance in this race. I'm going to be backing it pretty heavy. I think that the each way price is really good. It is a little bit of a mixed race because that mare's race form was always just like you have to find the right mare in form. But I think this horse really going to go under the radar for a lot of people, and I'm going to back it pretty heavy each way. Number 2, Prompt Response, goes in for number 2 for me. I just think that its form lines read the best. It's running well. It always gives a genuine effort and will keep continuing to give one. Number 6, for Leica. I just don't like the inside draw, but I just love the way that it's hit the line the last 2. I was actually against it at Moonee Valley and it got up and won. So I have to be really forgiving of my thoughts previous to that. I just think that this horse has a lot of talent, really hitting some straps. I think it's had 3 wins in a row now, so definitely goes in my numbers for today. And number 5, Payroll, which is also one of those little sneaky ones who runs, gives that really cheeky run, runs a third at like $10, $11. I think it's not as big in the market this time, but definitely goes in for me, can run a really cheeky race. But I'm pretty keen on number 4 here. I think it's really the under the radar type horse, and I'm not going to go around without having all those horses in a trifecta. Race number 7 here, the Darley, and I'm really keen on number 2, Red Zell here. I just think it has beaten all these horses into Everest. Everyone else has had a run. This has had a nice little break between runs. Goes here with a nice draw. I think they'll come to the outside fence, and obviously it draws nice and wide. It's going to lead or sit just off the leaders here. And I think it's one up the straight before, has a really good chance. I think it's really tips itself here. I've got number 7, Red Kirk Warrior, in for second. The straight form really gives it a push here. I know it's $12 in the market and there are some better stays, but the 2 performances, fresh and up the straight, have been absolutely outstanding. So cannot go around with having a little saver bet on it. I just think it's the one that's over the odds. The rest pretty much are about the right price. Number 3, Vega Magic, for me, goes in as a forgive and goes in for third. Obviously, she could have been really close into Everest, then was the favourite at Moonee Valley, got in a really bad spot and hit the line okay. Craig Williams sticks, which I mean is a bit annoying, but if you backed it at Moonee Valley, I think you should probably back it again here. You probably, you got to follow your money when you're on the right horse. After that, I'm pretty wide on about 5 or 6 other runners here. I put up my numbers on the page, but I really think it could be a little bit of a mixed bag there. I just think that Red Zell is going to be too strong up the front there, and I hope he kicks at about the 150 mark and gets us a good win. Race number 8 here, and I've landed on number 10, Ginger Nuts, obviously the best name of a racehorse going around at the moment. I think that this horse would have been really competitive in the Cups if he came across. Unfortunately, with a bit of a delay there with the rain in New Zealand, missed the trip. It's come out here for 1 run or 1 or 2 runs here. And I really loved the way he ran through the line at his last start at 2,000 meters. I know that was on soft, but the time stacked it up as well, saying that he ran really well. As I said, I thought he was going to be competitive in the Cups, and this horse should come here at about $7, $8 and really hit the line strong. Mickey D does get the ride here, which is not your top line jockey, but he is riding really well at the moment. And I think that if there's a little bit of rain, that would help, but it's not necessary for this horse to run well. Pretty keen on it. I've got number 15, Cliff's Edge, in for second. I just think with the 51 kilos, he's going to lead and he's going to be really hard to catch. He's going to give a nice little kick here, about 300 to go. Has been really competitive and strong, running some really good times in obviously his age group range, but gets the 51 kilos here, as I said. Should have every chance at the front to win this race. Number 3, Galileo Shop, and number 7, Folkswood will go into my trifectas and first 4 type of picks. That Cox Plate form is obviously good form there. I wasn't really impressed with anyone's run besides Folkswood, but I do think that that's the next line of form. They've all had 2,000 meter runs. They've all had tough runs in quick races. They're all on a good backup time for this race. So all of those horses go in for me. I just think Ginger Nuts is here to land a big one this spring, and that's the one I'm going to land on, but all those horses definitely go in for those exotics. Race number 9 here. I've landed on number 5, Tamazay, and I think this horse has a really good chance. Looks really talented off its 2 runs. Got in a lot of trouble last start and still hit the line really strong. I really thought with 50 to go watching the replay that this horse had no chance of winning and still got up and was soft on the line. So gate 1 is a little concern for me, especially at this time of the day, but I just think that if this horse does get a little bit of luck, gets off the fence early enough, this horse will be really hard to beat. It is rock hard in the market, especially looking at a few of the other horses' form lines, but this horse looks like to have a lot of potential. So you think, obviously, coming out of it, so you think probably wanting a little bit further now, but I just think that this horse has a lot of talent. I don't want to let it go around at that price without me having something on it. Number 3, Trekking, goes in for second for me. The form lines, as I said, for other horses in this race really read really well. And I think this horse is definitely one of them. Got form behind Merchant Navy and Minari. Obviously, that's good enough to win a race here. It's probably going to get slightly less a run than you'd think, but probably hits the line strong again here. Probably short on the SP as well, gets me away from it. Number 11, Mr. So-and-so, I think is really smart. Goes up here, 23 bucks. I think that's overs. Gets a good jockey change here from a decent draw. Has a really good chance of surprising. Definitely going to be in my exotics. I think it has really strong form lines. Its maiden win was strong as well. And definitely chucks it in here for me. And number 1, Saucony, who I think would just be tough on speed. Has to carry a big weight, but will be strong towards the line. So they're the horses I'm looking at, but I think number 5 has a really good shot. Beautiful, and that's it for Just the Tip this week. Hopefully find a few winners on Emirates Day. Obviously, it's been a fantastic carnival so far. Track's playing impressively, and just hopefully keep finding those winners.